what is up, everybody? Welcome to the Inland Sports Show. I'm your host, Pep Fernandez. We got a lot of high school football on this show. So before we get to the interviews and we break down the games coming up this week, make sure you give this video a like. It helps us, and better yet, subscribe if you haven't done so already to the Inland Sports Show YouTube channel. You can also find us on Instagram, Twitter. Still do Facebook a little bit, but please find us on the gram and also Twitter, aka X. We hang out there as well for scores, updates. We tweet out links to the shows and videos, so check us out. That's Inland Sports, but you already know that. Later in the show, we're going to check in with Ramona head coach Ken Mushinskie as the Rams get ready for another edition of the Solar Series against the Riverside Poly Bears. It's also a rematch of last year's CIF Southern Section Division 11 championship game in which Ramona won. And also, we're going to check in with the Colton Yellowjackets. Ray Rodriguez, the head coach of the Jackets, and star quarterback, only a sophomore, Regalado. We're going to check in with both those guys. They got a big one coming up on Friday against Rim of the World. But right now, we're going to start with our Ken Sporting Goods must-see game. And this is the granddaddy of them all this week. It's a big one. The Cajon Cowboys will put their 3-0 record up against the Jack, the San Jacinto Tigers. It's our Ken Sporting Goods must-see game. San Jacinto coming off a huge win against Rancho Verde. And if you even back up a little bit further, they technically beat your Belinda on the field. I know it's a forfeit. Coach Galliano said, hey, we had an ineligible player. We figured that out after the fact, unfortunately. And so they had to forfeit that game against your Belinda, but they still won on the field. And then they beat Rancho Verde this previous week. I think he scored like 55 on them. And now they get Cajon. Cajon is 3-0. It's a big stretch for the Cowboys. They just beat Newport Harbor in their homecoming game at Estancia High School in Costa Mesa. That was their homecoming game. It was supposed to be in San Bernardino, but the air quality forced them down to Orange County. They still got the game in. They still won 41-21. But the Cowboys have San Jacinto this week and then Orange Vista next week. So a big run here for the Cowboys to get them all ready for Citrus Belt League play. But back to the Jack. San Jacinto, big game against Cajon. We had a chance to check in with Tigers head coach Aric Galliano, talk about the season so far. Technically, their record is 1-3. They're a lot better than that. They should at least be 2-2, right? Because they beat your Belinda. They played some close games, and they got a big one against Cajon. That's a big measuring stick for the Tigers before they jump into Mountain Pass League play in just actually 2 weeks. I think they got a bye next week, and then right into league play. Also at San Jacinto on Friday night, they're going to dedicate the stadium and rename it after a long-time head coach and administrator. And Coach Galliano has the details on that with our good friend Bill Powell. So here is Coach Galliano from the Jack.
Inland Sports.
And now join us here on the Inland Sports Show, the head football coach for the San Jacinto Tigers, coming off a big win against Rancho Verde to kind of build some momentum going into another big game coming up this week. It's Aric Galliano. And Coach, man, it's all good in the Jack this week, right? Coming off that big win against the Mustangs, but you guys got to reload pretty quickly, don't you?
Yeah, we're going through the gauntlet right now. You know, we're having Rancho Verde, and then before that, Yorba Linda, and then before that, Culver City. So, you know, it's the tough non-league I put us through to hopefully prepare us for the playoffs.
So before we talk about this matchup with Cajon, going back to that Rancho Verde game, I figured from the outside looking in, I figured it was going to be high scoring because there's just so many great offensive players on both sides, on both teams. You know, what did you think of that matchup? What did you like about your offense? Did you want to see more from your defense? Like, what did you think about that game with the Mustangs?
I think we took a little bit of a step back defensively, gave up some big plays to give them some momentum, which they were looking for. You know, talking with Coach Zolma, who does a great job over there. They were trying to build momentum offensively, and you know, we had some busts that we did that created some momentum for them. And it put us in a nail-biter game until the end, where we can eventually, you know, lean on them with our run game and finally pull away.
So, Coach, looking ahead now to Cajon, this is another game that'll probably have plenty of fireworks. I mean, there's so many talented guys on the field in this one. You know, this is obviously not a slight to Rancho Verde or Yorba Linda or anybody else on your schedule, but when you looked at your non-league, did you say, okay,
Cajon's going to be our real, like our litmus test. Where are we? Are we good enough, or where do we have weaknesses? Like, where do we need to improve? Like, did you kind of circle this game on the schedule a while ago?
Yeah, our biggest thing with our non-league is we try to put together different types of teams of different offenses and defenses that we're going to play because you never know who we're going to get in the playoffs. In Culver City is very similar to a Cajon with athletes everywhere. Yorba Linda is a smash mouth team. Rancho Verde is a mixture of both, and Cajon is going to have athletes everywhere, fast across the field, both offensively and defensively. It causes us some issues, so we can see where our deficiencies are, and hopefully we can adjust those as we move forward, through league and then hopefully making a playoff run.
Speaking about the Cowboys, we talked to Nick Rogers right before the season began, and he basically has he said like his best offensive line that he's ever had, and he's got like all his skill guys back, including his quarterback. He was trying to compare them to the 2017 Jaden Daniels offense, but trying not to put that expectation on them. But he said they're going to be really, really good this year. You were just talking about your defense and what, maybe some areas they want to clean up, after that Rancho Verde game. Defensively, when you go up against a team like Cajon, do you pick your poison? Do you try to, focus on one guy? Like, how do you stop an offense like that?
Yeah, our ultimate goal is to stop the run. That kind of placates everything and getting stuff going. And so we put a lot of emphasis on trying to stop the run for every opponent that we do, that we play against. So it's making those adjustments. They have to fire that O-line is no joke. They're physical. They get out and run, athletic. So we have our hands full with them. And so, I remember those years with Jaden Daniels. I think I kicked it off in 2015. Him as a freshman year was my first year as head coach, and they beat us in the playoffs here, and I finally, hopefully, we get a little payback this week.
All right, let's flip it to your side of the football offensively. Obviously, Jalen Patterson's a special talent at quarterback. You seem to always have receivers and running backs, and what have you liked about your offense through the first couple of games of the year?
I think the physicality that we're playing with up front. We have 5 returners. Been in our program as far as offense line. A lot of them playing D-line. We kind of made the transition to have those guys go both ways in order to be as successful as we can on offense. And so the physicality of what we're playing with up front, we're breaking in a new running back. He started for us last year as our wing back, but now he's getting the bulk of the carries. And then having Jalen back there that makes everything a little bit easier for a lot of those guys when we make mistakes. That's something that a lot of teams have to account for or can account for in their game plan is him ad-libbing and making things happen.
All right, Coach, so you guys are going to be home for Cajon. I did want to ask about your home field because it has or will be renamed, right? Like, is it Bill Powell Stadium or Bill Powell Field, or what's going on with that?
Yeah, Bill's the head coach here for 18 years. He worked in our district for over 30. Going into the season or going into last year at the end of the year, I sat down and met with our superintendent and one of our school board members, and I thought it'd be a good gesture on my part and the football program's part to name the field after him. And the school board and the district decided that was a great idea, and so he actually is the head coach at Green Valley in Las Vegas. So he has a bye this week, so this is why we're doing it this week. So he's coming out for the game. So we can do a big commemorative celebration for him, which is awesome. The amount of things that he's done for the kids here in our community that I'm trying to continue is really good.
All right, Coach, finally, when you look at the big picture for this team, obviously you want to see them getting better week by week and peaking, right, by the time you get to playoffs. I mean, do you like where the team is at right now? Do you still feel like, hey, we're doing a lot of things well, but the exciting part is we can still do a lot of other things even better. Like, we could be a better version of ourselves in like 4, 5, 6 weeks down the road.
Absolutely. We tailor our camp, like our fall camp and our preseason into hopefully, hitting our stride by week 7, week 8, week 9, before we get into the playoffs. We've made tremendous strides from our Beaumont game, to Culver City, and then from Culver City to Yorba Linda, and then, then to Rancho Verde. It's Now this week, Cajon, like we're going through a gauntlet. I want the kids to see all different types of styles of football. So hopefully it prepares us for what gets thrown at us in the playoffs, because you never know. Just preparing our kids as best as possible, so they can be successful on the field.
All right. Well, he's live from a golf cart deep in the Jack. It's Aric Galliano, the head football coach for the San Jacinto Tigers. Coach, always appreciate the time. You always jump on here at last on a whim, on last minute. I appreciate
Absolutely.
it for always making time for us.
No, I appreciate everything you guys do for high school football. It wouldn't be the same without you guys. I'm so glad you guys continue to do so, and give us the publicity that the high school football players in our area, the IE, that they deserve and that they get.
Well, we will be covering the game on Friday. There might even be a Pep appearance out there in the Jack this Friday. So
Pep's always welcome at the Jack.
All right, that's Aric Galliano, the head football coach of the San Jacinto Tigers, here on the Inland Sports Show.
Inland Sports. A big thanks to Coach Galliano for that interview. Huge game out there at the Jack against Cajon, and also a special night to rename the stadium after the legendary Bill Powell. Congratulations, Bill. You're one of my favorite guys out there. You already know that, so congrats, and well-deserved on that stadium out there. And you heard in the interview, Coach Powell is still coaching. He's out in Las Vegas still coaching, so he's not done yet. So congratulations to Coach. All right, we come back here on the Inland Sports Show. A lot more high school football to get to. We're going to check in with Ramona High School head coach Ken Mushinskie to preview the Solar Series matchup with the Riverside Poly Bears. Big-time rivalry game, and also the Colton Yellowjackets. They're off to a 2-1 start. Big measuring stick game against Rim of the World coming up on Friday for the Yellowjackets. It's going to be a lot of fun. We'll check in with head coach Ray Rodriguez and star quarterback Koa Regalado. That's coming up here on the Inland Sports Show. We will be right back. And this segment of the Inland Sports Show is brought to you by Ken Sporting Goods in Norco. #1 in the Inland Empire for team uniforms, sports equipment, and Letterman's jackets. Boost Performance Training in Corona. Athletes of all levels and all sports train at Boost. And also ask about the Bass Private School. Paulson Orthodontics in Redlands. Personalized treatment you deserve from an orthodontist you can trust. Chick-fil-A in Yucaipa, right off the 10 freeway at Yucaipa Boulevard. Eat more chicken. And if you'd like to promote your business or organization on the show, send us an email. Help us share the positive sports stories here in the Inland Empire.
Thank God, first of all. I thank the great people that I've got around me that help support me, the people that work for me. As I started, if it wasn't for the people around me, we probably wouldn't be here right now, but I've got a great staff. I've got great people that do stuff for us outside the store, and we've been very, very fortunate. Our service is impeccable, and we just keep trying to get better every year. We can do online stuff for your teams, as well as, like I said, the screen printing, the embroidery. We also have 3 women that do extra sewing for us, like tackle tool on uniforms, or the bling or rhinestones for different shirts for the ladies. That's why we have certain racks just for certain schools, and the fun about that is that it turns into other schools that may come in here that aren't as close, that we can do stuff for them as well. We've had very, very good customers throughout the years, and it's just been a blast.
The Inland Sports Show is proud to partner with Dr. Marcus Paulson and Paulson Orthodontics in Redlands. Dr. Paulson and his team work with children, teens, and adults using orthodontic products like traditional braces and Invisalign to make a difference in the appearance, comfort, and function of each patient's teeth. Paulson Orthodontics welcomes new patients, so schedule a visit today.
Paulson Orthodontics. We make braces fun.
Want to know the best type of recovery for athletes at zero cost? I'm talking about sleep, of course. As an athlete, good sleep can help you reduce your risk of injury, improve your strength and power output, as well as improve your overall work capacity. It also helps you bounce back quickly from the stress of competition. As a student, adequate sleep can help boost your mood, cognition, productivity, and relationships. Bottom line, don't sleep on sleep. Boostman.
And welcome back to the Inland Sports Show, everybody. I'm your host, Pep Fernandez, as we do every week, going really hard on the high school football as we get closer to league play. We're technically in week 4. We're going to have a pretty busy week 5. That's usually a time when teams will take a bye right before league play starts, but the next couple of weeks look pretty busy for our local teams as we're hitting the midway point of the regular season, which is crazy that the season's going so fast, but I feel like I say that every year. All right, week 4, let's do this. Let's take a look at some of the top matchups coming your way in week 4. Here we go. All right, we've got Marietta Valley and King. That is a Thursday night special, and it will be live on Riverside TV. The Wolves are 4-0, and they'll go up against their toughest opponent to date when they take on the mighty Nighthawks. That'll be a good one on Riverside TV. Beaumont, they will take on Marietta Mesa. Interesting game here. The Rams are probably a lot better than what their record indicates, and Beaumont coming off a tough loss to Oak Hills, but the Cougars played Oak Hills down to the wire. They played them tough, and that was a great game because that was a game that they came together and, you know, their opponents could not play because of air quality last week, and they got the game together at the last moment, so kudos to them for just even playing. Norco and Citrus Valley. Citrus Valley did not play last week because they were supposed to play Oak Hills. Their game got canceled because Citrus Valley and Redlands was a lot closer to the line fire up there in the Highland area. So they're 0-2, trying to get their first win. Norco coming off a big win against Etiwanda. They're going to try to keep that going. Norco's had, I've said it and I'll say it again, I sound like a broken record. They have maybe the toughest non-league schedule in the area, outside of Centennial, of course. They're an outlier. But it continues against Citrus Valley. Norco's played everybody close. They got their first win against Etiwanda, and they'll try to keep things going against the Blackhawks. Liberty will go on the road to Tockwitz out in Hemet. That used to be a Mountain Pass League game. Liberty now in the Ivy League, so we'll see if the Bison can keep things rolling. Santiago will take on Rosie. One of these teams will get their first win of the season. The old Big 8 League rival. Santiago in the Big West Lower, Rosie in the Big West Upper. Kind of a cross-conference game. They're cross-pollinating in the Big West this week. We mentioned Riverside Poly and Ramona in another edition of the Solar Series. Also a rematch of last year's CIF Southern Section Division 8-11 championship game in which the Rams won. We get the rematch this year. And Centennial will go on the road to take on Liberty in Arizona. If you remember, Liberty came out to Corona last year, and Centennial beat them in a very back-and-forth game. Liberty jumped on the Huskies early, but Huskies stormed back like they always do. They can score points in bunches. Centennial came back in a big way and won that game against Liberty. At the time last year, they were both ranked, I think, in the top 10 or top 15 in the nation. It was one of the premier games in the entire country. And once again, it'll be a great matchup as Centennial now goes on the road to Liberty in Arizona. I think it's technically in Peoria, I want to say, that game. So it should be a good one. All right, well, we mentioned the old Solar Series, right, for Riverside Poly and the Rams. That'll be a Riverside TV game as well. So there's King versus Marietta Valley on Thursday night live on Riverside TV. Then on Friday night, it'll be Ramona versus Riverside Poly. And also, Norta Vista versus Granite Hills. The Braves cracked our top 10 for the Big Boost top 25. We're going to talk about that in just a moment. But Norta Vista will play Granite Hills in a second live game on Friday night on Riverside TV. So you can pick Novi versus Granite Hills or the Solar Series, Ramona versus Riverside Poly. We had a chance to catch up with Rams head coach Ken Mushinskie to talk about the Rams' 4-0 start this season and the big matchup against the Bears. And Coach Mushinskie says, you know, hey, we're 4-0 and the record looks good, but they can still play a lot better, which I guess is exciting for Coach Mush because he feels like, you know, as good as they've been, the best is still to come for this Ramona football team in 2024. So here is Coach Mushinskie breaking down the Poly Bears and his season so far.
Inland Sports. I think the biggest thing was just the lack of having time off. We played a 16-game season and went into Christmas break, and it's like we came back and started immediately. This is a whole completely different team. We have great kids, and they're working super hard. But it is a different team, and we have to take it one game at a time. I know it's very cliche-ish, but that's what we're doing, and they've done a good job. Again, we haven't played our best. We're hoping we take it out and get Poly this week. Oh man, we are excited. Anytime we get to play a Riverside school, especially when it's Riverside Poly, there's just an air of excitement. I know they're coming off of a big game versus King. It was a great crowd, and we're hoping that that we have that same energy, that same excitement on Friday night when Poly comes to Ramona and we play them. Again, the Solar Series, very historical for the city of Riverside, and two pretty storied programs, Riverside Poly and Ramona. And the fact that we played last year and ended it in a championship game, it's just beautiful for the city and for both schools.
Pretty exciting for you guys. I mean, you're 4-0, but you feel like, man, there is still a lot of areas that you guys could get better in, huh?
Yeah, we were just talking, I was showing film today to the boys, and I said, we're winning, we're 4-0, but we have yet to play a complete game. And we're going to work real hard this week to prepare for Poly. They are very, very good and definitely well coached. They have some studs on both sides of the ball. They have good size. It's going to be a battle for us. We just need to play a complete game and hopefully take it to them. Sports.
All right, Coach Mush breaking it down. Rams and Bears Friday night live on Riverside TV. It's going to be a good one. The only prediction I made was on the Friday night pep rally last week on Riverside TV. I said this year the Rams versus Bears game will be a lot closer than that championship game in D11 last year. So we'll see if that comes to fruition. But I'll tell you this, Ramona and Norta Vista are both in the Boost top 25. Let's take a look. Here we go. In fact, Norta Vista cracks the top 10. Listen, the Braves deserve it. They're 4-0. They're coming off a big win on the road at Great Oak. Norta Vista deserves it. And they might go 10-0. They might beat Granite Hills. They might run the table in the River Valley League. They might be 10-0. Remember, they were 9-1 last year and in Division 4 for the CIF Southern Section playoffs. So Norta Vista cracks the top 10. They earned it. We've kept them out of the top 10 long enough. All right, Centennial still number one. The Huskies coming up with that big win against Lone Peak, the number one team from out of the state of Utah last week. Big win for Centennial. Not a big surprise, though. Chaparral's 3-0. Cajon's 3-0. Murrieta Valley 2-1. Vista Murrieta checks in at 3-1. They had a shootout loss to Bishop Amat the previous week. Beaumont's 3-1 after that loss to Oak Hills. Aquinas is 1-2. San Jacinto, it says 3-1. That's my mistake. They're actually 1-3. I had it backwards. They are 1-3, although you might technically say they're 2-2. They technically beat Yorba Linda on the field, but I'm just splitting hairs on that. Orange Vista, probably the best 1-3 team you are going to find around outside of, well, maybe them and San Jacinto for that fact, because they're both 1-3, right? Norta Vista's 4-0. On the other side of the bracket, it starts getting messy. I said this on social media, and I'm going to stick with it. I know a bunch of you guys are all football experts out there, and I appreciate it. You guys all know so much about football, and that's great, but I'm sticking to this, man. Norco's 1-3, but if you look at it, they've played some close games against some really good teams, against the toughest non-league schedule outside of Centennial. I know. Norco's 1-3. Citrus Valley's 0-2. It's really hard to gauge when good teams lose to great teams and when good teams beat lesser teams. So, you know, what if you're undefeated but you haven't really played anybody? Or what if you're 1-3 like Norco and you've played a gauntlet of teams? So it's hard to gauge, but the good thing is a lot of these teams will play head-to-head in the next several weeks, and they will sort this out on the field. That's the good part. All right, back to it. King at 4-0, Yucaipa 3-0. Yucaipa had their game against Palm Desert postponed. So Yucaipa will play on the road at Palm Springs this week. Then that postponed game in their bye week against Palm Desert will happen September, 26th, I want to say. Does that sound about right? Liberty at 2-1. Rancho Verde and Murrieta Mesa both check in at 1-3. Both have played tough schedules. Both are good teams. They just don't have the wins to show for it yet. Further down the list, there's Summit, Hemet, and Vista del Lago, both 4-0. Ramona there at 4-0 as well. Great Oak at 1-3 after a 6-point loss to Norte Vista in the previous week. Rosie, 0-3 right now, but we're keeping them in the top 25 because they are a really good team. Just played some good teams in non-league action. Hillcrest at 3-1. Temecula Valley holding on to number 25 at 2-2. And we don't necessarily do bubble teams. But if there was a bubble team out there, from what I've been hearing, Jurupa Hills is going to be good. They don't have everybody eligible yet. I know a lot of these teams will look different after the 5th game of the season when all these transfers become eligible. Jurupa Hills is supposed to be really good. Linfield Christian right now is knocking on the door of the Boost Top 25 as well. So there's teams right there on the cusp trying to make their way into the top 25. So we'll keep an eye on that. Again, the next couple of weeks, even in non-league action, will be very busy. Even week 5 next week, which traditionally is pretty slow. It's like a diet version of a normal week of high school football. It's going to be busy because a lot of games were postponed into week 5. So it's going to be a busy slate come next week. So we'll keep tabs on the Boost Top 25. A lot of these teams will be playing head-to-head. Big games are coming up on the horizon, so they will sort it out on the field. That is the good part. All right, speaking of the Boost Top 25, let's go to the big Boost play of the week. We mentioned Norte Vista cracked the top 10 with a huge road win at Great Oak. This might have been the biggest play of the game. Check it out.
Inland Sports.
The big Boost play of the week brought to you by quarterback Seth Bolander of the Norte Vista Braves, and he's going to hook up with King Butler. And check out this touchdown catch. Juggling it, then bounces off the Great Oak defender's helmet, and Butler still grabs it. Takes 3 or 4 bounces and finally ends up in the hands of King Butler. Seth Bolander to Butler is our big Boost play of the week as the Norte Vista Braves pulled off a big road win at Great Oak in Temecula. Congratulations to them. All right, we're going to go into another quick commercial break here on the Inland Sports Show. When we come back, we'll check in with the Colton Yellowjackets. They are 2-1 on the season. Big game coming up against Rim of the World, and they're certainly going to be in the mix when you talk about the Skyline League title this coming season. So we'll be right back here on your favorite show, the Inland Sports Show.
And this segment of the Inland Sports Show is brought to you by Ken Sporting Goods in Norco, #1 in the Inland Empire for team uniforms, sports equipment, and Letterman's jackets. Boost Performance Training in Corona. Athletes of all levels and all sports train at Boost. And also ask about the Bass Private School. Paulson Orthodontics in Redlands. Personalized treatment you deserve from an orthodontist you can trust. Chick-fil-A in Yucaipa, right off the 10 freeway at Yucaipa Boulevard. Eat more chicken. And if you'd like to promote your business or organization on the show, send us an email. Help us share the positive sports stories here in the Inland Empire.
Here are 3 tips for improved sleep for student athletes. Number 1, try not to perform any activities in your bedroom besides sleeping. This associates your bedroom with sleep. Number 2, only go to your bed when you're really sleepy and after a routine. This way, when you see your bed, you'll think of sleep. Number 3, if you can't sleep, Get out of your bed or bedroom. This way, you can prevent your bed or bedroom from becoming a wakeful trigger. Sleep plays an important role in your development as a student and athlete. So if you want to play at your best, get some rest. Boost Man.
This is Centennial Boys basketball coach Josh Giles, and you are watching the Inland Sports Show.
Inland Sports.
Yeah, I remember everyone was saying that, at least going into this season, that the Rams were actually loaded with talent. Like, they were going to knock off maybe the 49ers and win the NFC West and be one of the teams to challenge, for the NFC title and get to the Super Bowl. Well, when you look at the NFC West as a whole, you could make a case that maybe the Arizona Cardinals are the best team in the division right now. It's crazy. The Arizona Cardinals absolutely thrashed the Rams 41-10 on Sunday. I know your Seahawks are coming off a close win against the Patriots. So, right now, before the season began, people probably thought, okay, the 49ers and the Rams are the two best teams in the division. Well, after 2 weeks, again, small sample size, and we like to overreact, but maybe Seattle and the Arizona Cardinals are actually the two best teams in the NFC West on this Monday morning.
It just feels like you cannot predict this stuff. I mean, this year, of course, we think the Rams are going to be good. It doesn't look that way so far. Last year, we thought they were going to be terrible. Of course, it was the exact opposite, and they shocked everyone.
If you're a Chargers fan, you probably want to jump to those conclusions on this Monday morning because they are 2-0, and they've looked awesome. And it's the same recipe, Patrick. Great defense, and they're going to run the football hard. Justin Herbert, he'll get his touchdowns here and there. He did that on Sunday against the Panthers in a 26-3 win.
Hey, what did Harbaugh say? JK all day.
Yeah.
JK Dobbins just pounded the rock, man.
Yeah, and I like it, man. It might not be pretty. They might not be going like 4 or 5 wide and trying to score like 40 points a game, but they're going to win football games this way. It might not be pretty, but they're going to grind it out. They're going to play physical on defense. It's that Michigan mentality, and he brought it to L.A.
Inland Sports.
And welcome back, everybody. Hanging out with my boy Patrick in the morning on KCAL 96.7 FM every Monday and Thursday morning, talking sports, talking inland sports, NFL football, whatever comes up. And I just saw my LinkedIn. I don't go on LinkedIn very often, but I just saw my LinkedIn. I think it said it was like my 10-year anniversary at KCAL. I've been doing sports updates on KCAL radio for the last decade. I can't believe that. It's crazy. So anyways, Patrick in the morning. Check him out. Super funny. If you love rock music, you love football, check it out every Monday and Thursday. I think it's usually right around 9:30 a.m. So check it out, KCAL 96.7 FM. And we also post those segments right here on the Inland Sports Show YouTube channel. So you can go back and check those out at your leisure. All right, now more high school football before we round out this show. It's a big week 4. Another one of those top games that we're keeping an eye on. Rim of the World taking on Colton. Not technically a league game. They're both part of the Arrowhead Athletic Conference, but not technically a league game, but a great test for the Yellowjackets before they get to Skyline League play. And for Rim of the World, they're coming off a big win against Arcadia. And for the Scots, I mean, remember, the air quality, the line fire, it was wreaking havoc on a lot of schools, including Rim of the World. In fact, I saw on social media, Rim of the World was actually holding their practices last week inside Casulis Arena at Cal State San Bernardino to get away from the smoke, to get away from the fire and the terrible air quality. So they went inside the arena, and I don't know if it was like a walkthrough or how much of a practice it was, but they kept the train going, man. They were still going forward, and they got that game in on the road against Arcadia. They won that game, and now they turn around, and they will be on the road at Colton coming up on Friday night. Another one of the top games here in the Inland Sports Show coverage area. We had a chance to check in with Yellowjackets head coach Ray Rodriguez and star quarterback Koa Regalado. Koa is only a sophomore, but he's already emerged as one of the top QBs in the area, and he's going to be a special talent. Again, still several more years to have him in a Colton uniform, and I know Coach Rodriguez is excited about that. So let's check in with the Colton Yellowjackets as they get ready to take on Rim of the World.
Inland Sports.
Our character, man. We've been going into these games. We were shorthanded a couple weeks ago when we played ACA, and we had to play some young guys, and those young guys came in and did what they had to do, and we were able to pull out a tough win there. And then they've just been battling all season long. Obviously, we're 2-1 right now, but the boys have continued to grow each week, and I'm excited to see where they continue to grow, especially with this upcoming game versus Rim. I'm excited for it. I look forward to the challenge. Our boys, like I said, they battled through adversity throughout the season so far, and we got some gritty kids, and I'm excited to see how they handle Rim's daunted run game. But I like our chances there.
You know, try not to look too far ahead, but obviously league play is going to be right around the corner, and the skyline looks, wide open. What do you think you guys have to do well as a team to give yourself a chance to maybe win a league championship this year?
You know what? I like our chances. Carter's going to be a tough game. They're new to our league, and every team in our league's gotten better each year, and that's the exciting part. But I think we have a good shot as long as we take care of the ball and we do what we do offensively and defensively. We make some tackles and make some plays on the offensive side of the ball. I think we're primed for a good run there.
And finally, Coach, how about your quarterback play? Only a sophomore, but putting up some big numbers. Talk about Koa Regalado.
A phenomenal kid, student of the game, and I mean, hard worker, man. He's been grinding since probably December, and then it's starting to show, and I think it's going to continue to show throughout the season, and especially when we get into the league. A great kid, man.
Man, our team loves adversity this year, and honestly, it's really hard to find a team like that. We play hard every single snap. We were down some guys against ACA, like Coach said, and we had young guys came in, 2 guys that played JV and came in, and one of our guys scored the first touchdown, and another one of our guys scored his first touchdown on varsity football. So, I mean, we just battle through adversity, play hard every snap, and we're fun to watch.
Maybe how have you grown as a quarterback this season?
I think just the experience from last year, being more confident in myself, being more confident in my boys around me. My feet work have been way faster, just working since, right after season ended. Straight working on just feet work, able to get the ball out quicker, more confident in my run game. Last year I didn't really pull the ball as much, so this year I was just trying to gain more confidence. I think I've done that well.
And on Friday night, you guys got Rim of the World. That'd be a great test for you guys. What do you think the Yellowjackets have to do well to give yourself a chance to get that win?
We can't miss, man. They like to control the ball, keep our offense off the field, and I'm sure they'll really try to do that this week and keep our offense off the field. But when we get on the field, we just can't miss. We got to do our job, not get too excited. I think we're going to have a great passing attack, open up the run game, and we just can't get distracted, and we can't miss.
Inland Sports.
Should be a good one. Yellowjackets and Scots coming at you Friday night from Colton High School. All right, that's going to do it for this Inland Sports Show. Shout out to Colton. Shout out to Coach Mushinskie at Ramona High School. And, of course, Aric Galliano at San Jacinto as well. I know we're doing a lot of high school football right now. We will mix in some other sports, but a lot of high school football right now as we get to league play. It's going to be a lot of fun the next couple of weeks as those league title races start heating up. In fact, I think next week – A.B. Miller, I think, is playing San Bernardino. I'll have to double check that, but that's already a league game for them in the Mountain Valley League. Pacific is not playing this year, but they had already agreed in the Mountain Valley League that they were going to play each other twice in one season. So the 3 teams, A.B. Miller, San Bernardino, and Indian Springs, are going to play each other twice, a home and away in the Mountain Valley League. So here we go, league play right around the corner. All right, thanks for joining us. Give this video a like, subscribe to the Inland Sports Show YouTube channel, and if you love high school football, check me out Friday night on Riverside TV with the Friday Night Pep Rally, and then we turn right around, and then on Saturday afternoon, you can check me out on Sports Weekly Live on IEMG. High school football scores, highlights, analysis, and interviews, all that good stuff. My name is Pep Fernandez. God bless you guys. Stay safe out there. We'll see you next time on your favorite show, the Inland Sports Show. Good night.
And this segment of the Inland Sports Show is brought to you by Ken Sporting Goods in Norco, #1 in the Inland Empire for team uniforms, sports equipment, and letterman's jackets. Boost Performance Training in Corona, Athletes of all levels and all sports train at Boost. And also ask about the Bass Private School. Paulson Orthodontics in Redlands. Personalized treatment you deserve from an orthodontist you can trust. Chick-fil-A in Yucaipa, right off the 10 freeway at Yucaipa Boulevard. Eat more chicken. And if you'd like to promote your business or organization on the show, send us an email. Help us share the positive sports stories here in the Inland Empire.